this movie, The Toxic Avenger, Richie Rich, Dougie Fresh, Duggan, tell the audience how you got into this flick. Ladies and gents, welcome to a brand new episode of Laz Vic Live. Yes! I'm so excited for tonight's episode because we have a celebrity tonight. He's a comedian, he's an artist, he's a producer, he's a friend, he's a favorite of the Rhino Comedy Club. Rich Duggan is on the show tonight. Yes. Before we get started, I want to thank each and every one of my new subscribers, my current subscribers, for tuning in and watching these episodes. If you're in the tri-state area and you want to come out to some shows this weekend, I'll be at the Basement September 14th, 2024, along with friends Janet Regensburg, Josh Wells, Walter, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Come out. What is it, Richie? Deptuck, Walter Deptuck. Come on out. It's at the Basement at Tommy's in Bergenfield, New Jersey. It's at 7 p.m. this Saturday. And then if you can't make this Saturday, next Saturday, September 21st, I'll be at Red's in Carlstadt, New Jersey, 8:30 p.m. show. It's gonna be a party. Come on out. Without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome to the show. My guest tonight on Laz Vic Live, Mr. Rich Duggan.
Hey there. Hi, Laz.
Or as I like to refer to you, Richie Rich Dougie Fresh Duggan.
That's right.
How you doing, my man? Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, Rich, for my subscribers that are not familiar with your work, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Richie Duggan. I work primarily out of Rhino Comedy in Suffern, New York. I reacquainted myself with comedy about 6 years ago. I did it in the 90s when I moved from New York back to the West Coast. And I had been the co-founder of a theater company in New York. And we'd put on plays, but sometimes on the late night weekend nights, we would put on these variety shows. And I kind of played around with stand-up and introducing acts back then. And then when I moved back to LA in the early 90s, and I thought, I wrote these comic monologues, and I thought, I'm going to go to some comedy clubs and I'm going to do these comedy monologues. They're so funny that I think a stand-up crowd will love them. And I was 100% wrong. But after failing at that for several months, I just thought I had fun. And I thought I'd put together a tight five. Then I took a class with Judy Carter.
Get out! You took a class with the Judy Carter, the one that wrote the comedy book that every single comedian read.
Yeah, I don't have. I think the Comedy Bible has outsold her first book, which was, it was just a basic stand-up book.
I read it. It was a great book. It helped me a lot early in my career. I went through it she puts it out in a way that's understandable, especially for a fresh, brand new comedian. There's no rules out there for comedians. There's no, especially the earlier you go, the less classes there were. There were improv stuff, but there's no, path that you follow. Not a straight path.
No, but Eddie Brill, he teaches.
Shout out to Eddie Brill.
He's always teaching seminars and all over the country and in Europe, I think too. And I mean, his credo is you can't teach someone to be funny, but you can organize their their jokes and their thoughts and their, scenarios in a way that is comedic, and it's up to them, to bring the humor to it.
Absolutely.
It is possible to teach, it's just, it's it's economy of words. If
Yes.
you've got a long form comedy bit that's 2 minutes long, better make certain that you're getting a laugh at the same repetition that you would if you were just a rat-a-tat-tat
Yeah.
set up, point of view, punch, set up, point of view, punch.
Exactly.
You've got to structure a 2 minute long bit, to work within, the confines of a comic on a stand-up comedy stage.
So you really break it down, Rich. You're a student of comedy. I've noticed that about you. You break it down. You study. I see you with your notes. You ask questions. We met at the comedy class at Rhino, I believe.
I think we met before that, when I had not gone on that stage yet at the old Rhino, and you were the MC, and we sat in the front row, and it was me and my daughter's friends, parents, and a couple of her friends. So there was about 6 of us at 2 tables, and you were the MC, and you went through everyone at the table. Then you got to me and said, "And so what's your role in this?" And I said, "I'm the friend of the family." And you were like, "Oh, it's always a friend for the family."
I remember this. I remember this. I said every murderer, every sketchy person in a murder show is always the friend of the family. And that's what you referred to yourself as, the friend of the family. So automatically alarms went off. So Rich, the reason why I'm excited to have you here tonight, because the audience has no idea what a huge celebrity you are, all right? You're in a movie that has such a cult following. And I went back and I rewatched it this week. And I found it very disturbing indeed. I didn't remember most of the movie because I saw it when I was 7.
Wow.
Because in the 80s, these were the movies kids would watch. We were exposed to, I was watching Freddy Krueger when I was 10, like
Sure.
Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, which is coming up, by the way. Isn't Friday the 13th coming up? So,
yeah.
So this movie, The Toxic Avenger, Richie Rich, Dougie Fresh Duggan, tell the audience how you got into this flick.
I don't know. I got to know the guys at Troma, Lloyd Kaufman and his merry band of crazies. They had an office up on, I think, 9th Avenue, 10th Avenue, in the theater district. And I mean, they were kind of schlocky filmmakers that had, just no budget movies, right? I was in a couple of them. I posed on one of their movie posters for Video Vixens, which is these 2 busty chicks in bathing suits pulling me out of an old TV set, and I was in Stuck on You. I actually read I had callbacks for the lead for that. And that's how I got to know him. It was Stuck on You, starring Professor Irwin Corey, who died 3 or 4 years ago at 102. He was like a vaudeville actor. And I didn't even realize that he was in a Broadway play with my mother. And I never got to tell her that before she passed. Yeah. And I didn't realize it. Anyway, so I got to know those guys and all the actors, around in the 80s in New York City. I mean, Marissa Tomei's in Stuck on You.
Wow.
I think it was one of her first movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked like 10 days on Stuck on You. Toxic Avenger, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. And they just pick us up. I mean, did they pay? they might have paid us
So it
something.
was a small indie movie. Which shot in New Jersey.
Yeah, I lived in Manhattan, so I just get on a bus. I had no idea where I was going. Kendall Park, New Jersey, I knew, which is near South Brunswick, I believe. Very small little hamlet in, fairly close to Princeton.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my aunt and uncle and cousins live. But I didn't know, you're just kind of a prisoner when you're living in Manhattan as a young person and have no car. You're in New York City. And so a bus would pick us up and just drive us somewhere in New Jersey. And it happened a lot. And they would feed us. And if it was overnight, my friend Regan and I were in charge of getting beer for the staff and the actors. And it was a big party. And nobody knew that Toxic Avenger would take off and become, there's a remake with Peter Dinklage that they're doing. And it really put Lloyd.
I read about that. Yeah, I read about that. That there's a remake with.
It put Lloyd Kaufman on the map because none of their movies were making much money. And they would like acquire rights to films that had failed at the box office, and they would just they'd re-release them on videotape, not even DVDs yet. And they'd re-release them with different graphics and different artwork and just try and squeeze any available money out of these failure movies.
So now the actor that played the nerd was different from the actor that played the Toxic Avenger?
Oh,
or
yeah.
was it the same actor? It was different.
No,
right?
no.
It was a much taller actor.
Mitchell Cohen was a big, muscular guy, 6'2", and the guy who played Melvin, what's his name? He looks like a Melvin. He was extremely skinny, just an ultimate nerdy looking guy. And he, I'm signed with an appearance agent, solely for the reason of Toxic Avenger. And I was in Larry Cohen movies, Q and
wow, that's crazy.
Return to Salem's Lot and It Lives Again. He made his fortune on.
You have a list of
It's
credits
Alive
under your
belt. I was in It's Alive 3 with I was in 4 movies with Michael Moriarty that Larry Cohen directed. And
crazy.
Anyway, and so when this woman called me and said, can I sign you? And I'm like, okay, it's because of the other cult movies I've been in. She says, no, just Toxic Avenger. So she's trying to put together 2-day appearances of the alumni of Toxic Avenger, but she really hasn't had much left. She really wants Mitchell Cohen, the guy who played the Avenger, and she can't find him. It's a very common name. No one knows.
Oh wow! No one knows where Melvin is.
They found Melvin. He does appearances.
Oh, he does.
Been in
but
movies.
They haven't found the Toxic Avenger himself.
No, and they pretty much need him. They can find all those bikini girls.
Internet. We need to find the Toxic Avenger. He's out there somewhere.
I know.
What's his name?
Mitchell Cohen.
Mitchell Cohen. So if someone's watching that knows Mitchell Cohen, the actual Toxic Avenger, contact us. Come on. We want him on the show.
Yeah. He's got a celebrity life awaiting for him.
Let's take a look at the scene in question.
Of course, there has to be a babe in hot pants somewhere even though it's a family shot, that there's,
First of all, this movie, The Toxic Avenger,
voluptuous girl is nearby.
Listen, for anyone that's watching this podcast, The Toxic Avenger is not for anyone under 18. All right, you need to have. In fact, if you're over 18, you should be watching this with an adult. This movie
it's ultra violent.
It's ultra violent, ultra sexualized. I was shocked watching this movie this week. I was shocked that I watched this as a child.
I know. It's very exploitate.
But that's
exploitative.
Generation X for you, Richie Rich. Let's take a look at your scene. This is the ice cream shop. Rich is known as the ice cream man. I would have that. I would have T-shirts that say the ice cream man, by the way, Rich. If I were you, I would I would have that on my license plate. Ice cream man. Toxic ice cream man.
See, I'm from the West Coast. I was born in New York, but I grew up on the West Coast in West Los Angeles. And when I'd go back there, no one knew the Toxic Avenger, but in New Jersey,
everybody knows in New Jersey. So you have to. We're gonna get you a T-shirt, maybe a medallion with an ice cream on it. That'd be hot. All right, let's take a look at the scene.
That monster saved my life. They said a lot of other good for this town. Why are they gonna kill him? We should speak out. Do something. Roy, why don't you do something? Speak out. You want me to speak up? If I speak up, I lose my business license. If I lose my business license, I'm dead. You want another shake? No, I want them not to kill the monster. I want us to do something.
Listen, Johnny, you're just a kid. People can't go around doing things just...
Richie Rich, can you say the line for us? You want another shake?
You want another shake?
Yes!
Oh, my God.
The Toxic Avenger lives! So it's a big movie in New Jersey. I don't, maybe it's not everywhere else, but in New Jersey, you know what? My friend from North Carolina, he's a big Toxic Avenger. Shout out to Old Graybeard. I told him that you were coming on. He was very excited. He's a big Toxic Avenger fan.
Wow.
So that's awesome, my man. And then you come out like one more time after this. I see you in an outside shot, but I'm too afraid to play this movie and like a boobie pops out. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Like I'm afraid.
No, I'm in a scene holding an M16. I think I had.
Yeah, you were standing outside.
Yeah, and there's a tank.
Yeah, so they got a whole army at the end of that movie. Like this was not a small. It was an indie film, but this was not a small production. I mean, how'd you get tanks?
I don't know. That's where their budget went, to rent that tank. I have no idea.
I think there was 2 tanks.
Yeah.
There was armored cars. There was a bunch of military men. Like there were like hundreds of people on this set.
Yeah. There was no lack of people willing to. He was just a charming guy. And there were other people occasionally that would like, oh my God, you went on those Troma movies, and those, but they're few and far between. If you're, you want to get, it's different now, but if you wanted to, if you wanted to get into, if you wanted to be an actor, you
had to start on indies, and people had passion for these films. His special effects, as violent and gory as they were pretty good. Like they were convincing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that scene, that ultra violent scene in the fast food shop. I mean, people's heads are getting shoved in French fry oil.
Yeah, I couldn't believe some of these scenes.
If people are, I think someone gets beheaded.
And I'm like, oh, they're not gonna shoot the dog. There's no way they're gonna. And then he shoots the dog. And a couple of times I'm like, when does Richie Rich come out? I need to shut this off. You know what I mean? Like, it was hard to watch as an adult. As a kid, I remember going, it was great. I loved it. I loved the blood and the gore and the boobs.
Yeah.
So let's bring up the picture of you on the set of Toxic Avenger. There he is. That is quite some makeup. That's quite the makeup job. How long did it take you to put on all that makeup, Rich?
I think we all... did we use makeup? I don't think we did.
I'm just kidding. So what was he like? What was the Toxic Avenger like on set?
Well, you know, he was nice. He was a cool guy. He's drinking a beer.
He was just drinking a beer?
Yeah. I mean, I think I only saw him that one day. That's the day that I held the M16.
Okay.
And they had all the, you know, like the sheriff and me, several
That's
people
right.
from
That's the tent in the last scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And you know, whoever took that picture, that's where the 2 tanks are.
I was like, this is a whole army they had in the town. Like, how do they do those car chase scenes? Like, you know, they had to shut down the road for that. Did they not, or did they just like almost cause accident?
There was a lot of them.
There was a lot of crazy shots in that movie.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know how many alumni Sarah Duthit, she's the one that owns Debut Entertainment. And she's got a huge stable of you know, celebrities that are attached to you know, franchises and whatnot. And I think she's doing quite well. But I'd be very curious as to how many alumni from the Toxic Avenger she has.
Yeah, right. That'd be
I guess
cool.
it's easy to look
Should
up.
do like a reunion at like Chiller Fest. You know about Chiller Fest?
Yeah, no, that's what she wants to do. But you know, I'm producing shows. I do a divorce themed show.
You just
Divorce
produced a whole web series.
Yeah, I have a web series that's kind of dormant right now, but I'd love to.
But, I mean, you have great footage. You have great episodes out. Plug it.
Yeah.
What's the name of your series?
It's called New Joke City.
New Joke City. Check them out.
Yeah, New Joke
YouTube.
City. There's a you can go to www.newjokecity.com.
There you go.
And it'll give you a link to our Instagram and our YouTube.
That was a great series.
Clips.
I mean, you came out with a season, right?
Yeah.
Great episodes. Go check it out. It's all about comedy and comedians.
But I'd love to restructure it whereby we bring a comic to you know, like a New York City outdoor location. We do a real quick interview, and then we get them to busk comedy, and we nudge some people to watch, right? We don't just put it on and expect them. We go up, talk to them, you know, give them a flyer, say, this is our show. Just come and watch 7 minutes of stand up. We're going to do it right here, you and the pigeons. And, you know, we'd love to and really organize like an audience and not have it
it's a great idea.
Yeah. Not have it be kind of like, you know, if we just start doing stand up, you know, in front of where'd we do yours? In front of 59th Street and Columbus, you know, if we're just gonna go there and have, you know,
in front of the statue,
start doing comedy, and you know,
that was a surreal experience. I busted comedy.
I think we're just assuming that
comedy.
You know, whenever we did one of these, that people would just descend on it, and you know, and
people in New York don't care. They're
I know they don't care, but I'd love to be able. I'd love to restructure it and have it, you know, have like a walk and talk, really short.
I really like the walk and talk. I really like that.
But make it short, and then I mean the episode should only be like 5-7 minutes long.
Yeah, absolutely. You know?
And
we got to do it. We'll do another one.
Yeah.
Do a second season. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, pared down. New Joke City pared down.
So check out New Joke City. I want to thank Richie Rich, Dougie Fresh Duggan for coming on the show. Richie, is there anything you have coming up? Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook under Richard Edward Duggan.
Okay.
I think.
Great.
And I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I'm Richie Duggan on Instagram.
Richie Duggan on Instagram. Check him out. Check out his web series. Check out his Facebook page. Check out his comedy. Richie Rich, I thank you so much for appearing on Laz Vic Live tonight, my friend. We'll see you soon. I hope to film with you again soon and perform with you again soon. This weekend and next weekend, I'll be at the Basement this Saturday, September 14th. Come on out. It's an awesome, fun little space in Bergenfield, New Jersey. Also, next Saturday, September 21st, I'll be at Reds in Carlstadt, New Jersey. Come on out, Richie Rich. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and I'm sure I'll have you back on the show, and we'll talk again soon.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And join us next time for a new episode of Laz Vic Live. Good night.